Здравейте, уважаеми зрители на GPLAY TV. Ето, че тук до мен седи една легенда на Counter-Strike, а вече и легенда на Fnatic, именно cArn. cArn, please. Nice to meet you.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Had a fairly, not a rough evening, but I stayed up a little bit too long. Slept 4 hours, but here I am. Our guys are currently playing a C9 in the kind of consolation game of Group B. And it looks good. We won the first game, thus too, so I couldn't be happier, I suppose.
Yeah, we will talk about that later.
Sure.
But do you enjoy DreamHack here in Romania? Do you think it's a good policy to bring such a tournament outside Sweden?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, esports is global, and although Germany, Sweden, USA, and a few other countries are in the forefront of hosting events, I think it's super important that we go and have and attend events in other countries, be it East Europe, be it Southeast Asia, Australia, Latin America, down the road Africa. That's the way to go. So I obviously welcome the fact that we now are in a new venue, in a new country to play a major in. So yeah, everything is cool. DreamHack are doing a great job. Happy to see Valve supporting this event as well. The venue, I mean, yeah, I cannot have any remarks on that really. I mean, it's a spectacular show. I'm hoping that there will be a lot of people in attendance on Saturday and Friday, because now, Saturday and Sunday, because now on Friday is obviously a weekday and people are in school and whatnot, so it's kind of half full, and that kind of reduces the hype a little bit. But yeah, we have the setup we need for a really good show this weekend.
Yeah, but the viewers are quite good numbers. So right now, back in the days, you were a very important person for Fnatic, but now you're responsible for all the teams. So, because League of Legends is something big in Bulgaria, I'll ask you where things go wrong versus CLUJ Tigers. Just your opinion about League of Legends team.
Sure. Although I mean, I am not at any point in life a expert of League of Legends.
Sure.
I have the fortune to work with really educated, smart, intelligent, probably the same word, but yeah, amazing supporting staff to our League of Legends team, being Oliver the manager and Lewis and Josh working in our coaching team. A rough guesstimation would be that the guys, you know, they had a lot of way more in them to perform, but they weren't able to show up on that very day. A week earlier in London we played against EGG and we beat them 3-0, and we played a completely different game. So I guess what you could say is that the luck or the momentum wasn't on our side, and that happens, right? If we would play this team 10 times, maybe we'll win 4 of them, or hopefully even more. You know, we felt and still feel that we have a chance against teams of that caliber. Obviously we now are, you know, 3rd to 4th in the world, alongside Origin, who also who also dropped out in the semis. But looking back at our year, 2015,
Yeah, it was amazing.
where we're starting at, you know, 4 new players, a new coach, we should be relatively happy about what we have accomplished. But at the same time, the nature of us in Fnatic is all about winning. It's all about showing up and winning the gold medals. We weren't able to do so, so obviously we feel a little bit of bitterness towards that. But again, with a bit of perspective, the guys are now in their hometowns, they're spending some time with their girlfriends, family and whatnot. It's really useful for them, because I'm telling you, the past 6 weeks for our guys, or even the entire year, it's been extremely busy. They've been living for the game, they've been very close to each other all the time, going to boot camp in Korea, then going on this road tour that is LCS. So obviously it drains you in so many ways. But obviously we lost to a stronger team at that very day, and I'm looking forward to see them in the final.
Yeah, slowly but surely we're going to the CSGO team. So when we talk about training, there's a rumors that Virtus.pro, Fnatic and maybe TSM are not boot camping. They're playing from home.
Sure.
So how does the Fnatic CSGO team train through your eyes? Is it hard, like how many hours they play?
I think it's actually the problem right now in Counter-Strike Go is that we do not have the opportunity to practice enough. Looking back at Counter-Strike, let's say 3, 4, 5 years back, it was more about practicing than events. So you saw more innovation in the game in terms of strategies. You were able to work on your team play communication. How things have evolved with CSGO right now, it's just a oversaturation of events. So it's very much about your individual skill. It's a lot about momentum and respecting other teams. I wish we could have a kind of a bootcamp place, or at least we, you know, spend a few days or even weeks together in the house and just focusing on our strategies. But the reality is that we have pretty much back-to-back tournaments all the time. Yeah, you mentioned a few other teams. I don't know about their practice routines or facilities, but we play from home. So, I mean, we travel, go to tournaments such as this, then we go back, maybe one off day, then back to practice. On top of that, also a lot of online tournaments. So it's all about just keeping yourself warm, you know, like, yeah, hitting the headshots, being relatively up to date about the opponent's strategies. But yeah, overall, it's very skill-based right now. Obviously, a very broad description, but I think it would be really cool to see how CSGO would be played if every top team in the world would have 1 month without tournaments, full focus on practice, nailing all the maps, hitting all the grenades, the timings and whatnot. I think that could be really, really cool. And that would also allow tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams and yeah, semi-pros to, you know, get a bit of opportunity to play in big events. Because right now, teams like us, teams like VP and all the rest, they're like, we are everywhere playing tournaments right now, and I wonder if that's good for the ecosystem. I don't think so.
Yeah, that was my next question, but for sure it's not good for the teams because they get exhausted and didn't have time to practice. So recently, a Fnatic CS:GO team don't show their A game. Maybe because of that, maybe because of something else. But what is your opinion about the yesterday game versus Luminosity? I was talking with Fallen just before the match, and he was quite respected by Fnatic, such as everyone. But he told us that if we play aggressive versus Fnatic right now in their not A game, we surely will have our chances. But what is your opinion? Did this match lose reflected to the team?
Sure. First and foremost, two things regarding our so-called slump. I think what is happening when you are on top of your game and you're winning tournaments is that you play more games than everyone else, and that means that you're observed by all the teams that didn't make it. There's more material to just research, and obviously as a player and team you also get more drained because you play more hours. So that's kind of like what you have to give up to be on the top, and we're all happy to do that. But yeah, in regards of yesterday's game, we lost to a very strong team. You know, I think they might be the best in NA and Latin America for sure. We're talking about some players who are super experienced, as in Fallen. He knows his shit. They also now have Nak as the coach, and some really strong individual players in the other 4 players. So yeah, one map against such team, you know, any given day they can pretty much beat us, you know. I do think we're going to come back. I do think we're going to qualify for the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to potentially see them in a semi, if that's possible, or at least the final. But I have all the respect in the world for these guys. Although in retrospect, maybe we should have stayed away from Inferno, but again, it's a little bit of a throwing dice, you know, on this kind of level and with so many tournaments. Speaking about their style, I think Brazilian teams, surprisingly, if you look at other sports, like it's all about joga bonito, it's very individual skill and just a lot of joyfulness. But in the game of Counter-Strike, I think historically Brazilian teams have been very structured. They have spent a lot of time on strategies, sometimes probably too much. A little bit similar to the Korean teams back in the days of CS 1.6. They just had to focus on the timings, the strategies, the maps, because they didn't have too many opponents to practice against. And that's kind of what we see now. It's somewhat of a leftover of that era, where they're coming here super prepared, as far as I see it, and they have a few cool things to use when they play teams like us. And we obviously play a bit in the dark because we don't practice against these guys too often, unless when they are in Europe for a boot camp.
Okay, so right now you're playing versus C9. The first map was this 2. It was chosen by Cloud9, but I think they make a mistake.
Sorry, 16-6 or something to us.
Yeah, but that was a mistake for Cloud9. You don't pick this 2 versus Fnatic. So
well, obviously you do. So I guess they had a plan, but it didn't really work out. Yeah, now we're playing the second game, and that's probably what you see. My vision is sometimes just try to pay attention to the score, but yeah, it's overpass right now. It should be fine. But yeah, Cloud9. I don't know what I think they have an interesting lineup. I think they probably need to really win a tournament quite soon in order to just keep the momentum up and keep the motivation up on their behalf. Obviously, there are other teams suffering, I'm saying here, but having the same issues. Just looking at the paper, looking at the past performances, I think we should beat them, but obviously we go into the game with a lot of preparation from yesterday and knowing that we can get eliminated, lose our legend status in majors and have to qualify next time, so we're dead serious about this. I think we became more hungry from losing to Luminosity, so maybe that's kind of the kick in the ass we need to maybe make this our 4th major, because that's obviously our goal, and that would make me extremely happy and proud. Because just looking at the past 10 years, I think it's been an amazing journey for Fnatic in Counter-Strike. You know, we did CS Source, not a lot of people maybe know that, but CS 1.6 we were quite prominent in for many years. Stayed with CS 1.6 a bit longer than other teams. Maybe that resulted in a slow starting go, but here we are. 2015, probably the best team in the world, and the teams with most majors won at least. Maybe not the best win ratio. That's probably the case if you're looking at a short-term basis, but yeah, what I'm trying to say here, I guess, I'm very happy where we're at in CSGO right now. We're working with some really great and talented people.
Yeah, as I said before in the interview, so basically right now we will talk about what do you think, is there a necessary or needed to the Koreans or at all the Asians should join this global stuff, Counter-Strike Global Offensive?
Yeah, I know I used this phrase too many times in this interview, but no one would be happier than me, I suppose. Maybe I didn't say that before. I guess what I wanted to say is it would be really cool to see Chinese teams, Korean teams, Southeast Asian teams to get back. I'm saying get back. I think that's what it is, because you know WNV, Tyler, and a bunch of other teams, Bale and Solo and these guys from Korea. The problem is the infrastructure of esports right now. I mean, the most tournaments of CS happens in Europe and NA. Chicken and egg, like what comes first? How can we stimulate the growth in that region? I think it's a little bit related to Valve, how they distribute the game. In certain regions, especially in poorer countries, the game kind of has to be free to play for even people to buy it. They might not have a PayPal, they might not have a Visa card or whatever to purchase the game, so they need to figure out other methods of the distribution of the game. But you know, CSGO is CS in like 5 vs 5 bomb plant defuse scenario. It's very straightforward. There are a bunch of idling Counter-Strike fans out there, but they're not really targeted or invited into our beautiful world right now. So what could we do, Fnatic? So I guess could we argue to DreamHack and ESL and these guys that they should set up more tournaments there, and we're gonna be happy to support our players to travel there? Yeah, that's probably also something we should do. But I guess first things first, we're trying to be dominant in our, you know, in the West right now, and we spend a lot of time and money and everything on our existing divisions. But yeah, surely we look at other parts of the world. Fnatic probably more than the most organizations, we have a global approach. We do now have players in like 15 countries, 6 divisions, and representation in pretty much from the States all the way to Southeast Asia with our Dota team based out of Malaysia. But yeah, it's busy times, but I wish we could do so much more. And I think CSGO and among other esports titles, it deserves a global presence, and it's up to us, leading organizations, leading game event organizers, to make shit happen. Because we sit on the resources, we sit on the expertise, but yeah, focus. It's obviously time is not really there right now.
Yeah, there are so many questions popping in my head about everything and the organization, but we don't have time. So just to ask you, separate from Fnatic, just imagine Fnatic qualified for the final.
Sure.
Which enemy you choose?
I mean, I'm Swedish. It would be awesome to see another final against NIP. I think there are more American players here than Swedish players and French players. So. Yeah, to kind of show the world that CS belongs to Sweden in a sense. We've been really good the past, what is it now, 16 years. But other spectacular matchups would be Virtus Pro. It's always fun to play them, and Envious as well. Would be good to silence TSM if we manage to meet and beat them. But it's a lot of great teams, but the teams I mentioned, I think that's the teams you're probably going to see in the final alongside us and Luminosity, one of these 6 or 7 teams, whatever I mentioned. CS in that sense is fairly predictable, and again, I guess that kind of comes from the fact that it's relatively hard right now to innovate, and it's also quite hard for new teams to enter the space. Coming in with new strategies, new talent, because yeah, the top teams, including us, we just go and play every tournament at the same time, and that's a little bit of a concern for the future of Counter-Strike, in my opinion.
Big thanks for this talk. I will let you to go.
My regards to everyone over in Bulgaria. I have yet to visit your country, but heard a lot of cool things about it. Once again, sorry that we beat you guys in World Cup '94. We got the bronze medal, you guys lost to us 4-0. So we're not only great in Counter-Strike, well, talk about fucking 20 years ago, right? So yeah, you're probably better than us right now.
You're more than welcome in Bulgaria, so...
Sounds cool.
So wish luck to Fnatic. It's 4-on-4, but for sure...
I lost my vision from computer games, so I cannot see what the score is, so I need to run over here.
It's equal, 4-on-4. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And we will see after the final.
Definitely.
Това беше cArn, абсолютната легенда на Fnatic, затова ние продължаваме тук да търсиме мега интересните хора.